Hey guys, AE49 back here, talk about part 3 of Sailor Moon S. Now, we all know, I'm pretty sure everyone would agree with me that Sailor Moon S is probably the most controversial, and it's only like barely a little bit like behind Sailor Stars, but I think Sailor Moon S is probably the most controversial just for the fact for the kissing cousins subject. Now, for those of you who don't know, which if you'd be watching, you'd be Sailor Moon fans, so you would know, but if you're whatever, if you don't know about it, in Japanese, Sailor Uranus and Sailor Neptune were hinted at being lesbians. Um, and now think about that. Lesbians in a kids show? That's, man, that's really pushing the limit there. So we can all understand why they would tone it down for a 7-year old show, because we all know, like I said in the past videos, like the whole thing with 7-year olds showing how them dumbing it down. So we can understand why they would do that. And remember, this is 1995. I think the woman's like marriage, same-sex marriage thing was just like really at its peak, so they really didn't want to get into that in a kids show because that would have really stirred some parents up. So we can understand why they would do that now. But yeah, so in Japanese, they were hinted at lesbians. Now I'm saying hinted because technically they never blurted out that they were. I mean, they say that they loved each other, but you can love another girl without being a lesbian. We've seen another anime show, so, and they said that, and they really, felt for each other. They would hold each other's hands and really like be emotional with each other. So I'm saying hinted. Now there probably are, and maybe they will announce it if they do a re-release of Sailor Moon S like in the year 2017 or whatever. Who knows? But for what it is, I understand and respect what they did with it to tone it down to a 7-year-old show. But like cousins, come on, cousins. I mean, sisters probably would have been a little bit more believable. Cousins, like Sailor Moon cousins. I mean, because in the dub version, they acted more like sisters and cousins, really. But yeah, but I understand why they did that. So the Japanese, they did have a little bit more closer scenes with each other. But yeah, I think if they do end up releasing Sailor Moon S, like with the manga storyline, that they should, and hopefully they will, because like they said, they're gonna follow it, not censor it or anything. So it really would be nice to see its full like bloom or whatever of their relationship in it. So it would be nice. Yeah. So anyway, let's talk about the details here. The dubs version Sailor Moon S, I'm gonna say they kind of went backwards just for the fact that they actually cut out a little too much, like what I said with the kissing cousins and the music. I think they recycled a couple of songs, nothing too new. It's just that they didn't add a lot of new elements when they redubbed it in English, so it wasn't that great for me. I liked it, because we got Sailor Saturn, was coming into it now, and she was. I think Sailor Saturn is probably the most intimidating Sailor Scout, just for the fact she has that sharp sickle thing. That's some serious stuff. And the fact that she's a Sailor Scout of Death and Rebirth, that's pretty intimidating. So I really liked. She was pretty cool. I really liked her because, for that fact. Sailor Pluto was back, and she got her human identity back. And now we'll talk about this Outer Scouts, since all of them are like present now. I liked how with Sailor Saturn, they kept her name from Japanese, which was Hotaru, Hotaru, something like that. Leave it in the comment how to pronounce it right. So we'll just call it Hotaru for now. I like how they kept her name from the Japanese, and that's like the only one that they kept for the first name. Like for the other ones, they had their first name for their last name. And I can understand because it's USA back in '95 or whatever, '95, '96. Anime was still kind of new at the time. I mean, bringing it over now, but now you can just click on anything on the internet and boom, see it. So, but back in '95, I understand they want to probably make it more American, give American names and stuff, but they're trying to leave little hints. That's what left the last names the same. I mean, their last names as their first names. Hutaro's voice, I thought it was a little quiet and a little shy, but then again, she was shy, but she was more like shy, but sort of like strong-willed. But with her voice, she just seemed like she was just talking a little too quiet sometimes. So her voice was okay, but I wasn't that big of a fan on it. Uranus and Neptune, their voices, they were good. I like their personalities because like with Neptune, she was like so graceful the way she'd play the violin and stuff. So I thought that really matched her. Uranus, sorry, I can't remember their names because I said I haven't watched Sailor Moon S in 10 years, so I can't remember their names and I can't find the dubs anywhere, so I can't watch it. So I can't remember their dub names, but anyway, I digress. I still remember the voices, and Uranus's voice, it sort of matched it. It was pretty good. I thought it was okay. But then you had Pluto's voice. I thought matched her really well because her voice sounded really mature, and we all know she's like she's the oldest of all the Sailor Scouts. Bringing it on that subject, really quick. All the Inner Scouts did match their age, but then when you got into the Outer Scouts, they were saying like in the Japanese dub that they were like 16, 17 years old, and honestly, they didn't look 16 or so. They looked like they were like 19, almost like, they looked much older than them, and because they were taller and much more stronger, mature, so it looked like they were like 19 or maybe 20. I don't know, but I want to shoot for 19, except for Saturn. She's like same, like a little older than Chibiusa. But Pluto, I think she's probably the oldest. I'm thinking she's like 21, maybe 22 at the most. Um, but anyway, yeah, but I like Pluto. She's like my second favorite behind Jupiter. Yeah, so I thought they did a good job. Japanese version, like I said, they were really, really going out on a limb there, trying to come up with a lesbian thing going on between them. I thought in Japanese, there's less restrictions when it comes to kids shows. That's why they show a little bit more, stuff. I mean, show a little bit more cleavage, be a little bit more specific. You know, show a little bit more blood, a little bit more violent language or two. There's just less restrictions in Japan, so that's why I guess that's why they showed it. But even in '95 in Japan, that was still kind of a iffy subject to be talking about. So I give them props for giving it a shot. So that's why I like it. So still, I'm gonna have to say, still, even with their pushing it with the lesbians thing, I'm still just giving Sailor Moon S a 9 out of 10 because it still didn't really go with each other. Maybe a 9.5. I'm really thinking that it's probably, for me, I'm saying that's probably the best one out of all of them. Because as we all know, like when you get in the middle of something, it's always like really cool. Like with Modern Warfare 2, that's like in between 1 and 3, so it was really good. Uncharted 2, in between, really good. Assassin's Creed 2, in between. I know 3's not out, but they had 1, 2, then Brotherhood. I know because there's everything in the middle seems to be like at the height, at its peak, at its prime. That's like, with age, like you be 7, not strong, you be 25, you're like at your prime, then you be like 47, you're starting to go down there a little bit. So that's why I like, because it's like right in the middle, it's at its prime. So for me, I think it was at its peak the most, but it still wasn't like a 10 out of 10, because like I said, it didn't appeal to everyone just yet. But I would see it like a 9.5. It's good, it's great. I can't think of one thing that I could complain about, but like with the dub, there's a couple of things. Like I said, the kissing cousins thing, even though we understand why they did it, still, you really can't complain because it was a 7 show. We really didn't want that in a 7-year-old show, but like I said, should just left it alone and made it a TV-14 show. But as it is, I'm gonna say it was actually a little better, because I think by then DIC switched it over to someone else, and they kept all the episodes. They did like 1 or 2 censors, and they had like more of the original Japanese music. So I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10 because I think it was better enough with all the stuff that they re-added, more stuff that they didn't cut down, more stuff that they left in. So I'm thinking it's just 1 point better. It is better than 1 and 2, but not by a lot. But still, it's an 8 out of 10. While I'm giving like Japanese like a 9.5 out of 10. It was really good. I loved it, but it's just almost there. It was almost there to being perfect, though. If it could have just maybe brought in a little bit more, something that more guys could relate to, then it would have been great. But even then, it's still great, but it's just almost there. Yeah, so this episode, a little treat for you guys. there's this I think you might already know about this, but there's this place called YouTube MP3converter.com, and I love this because you can actually go onto this website and convert YouTube videos into an MP3 soundbite and listen to it. So, like, if you don't want to pay for a song, which I suggest, I'm like disclaiming nothing here. They're not like telling me to promote their website or anything, but I still think you should pay for it. This is like if you're poor, if you don't have enough money for it, you can like, and I'm doing this on, like I said, on PS3, so I'm not sure how it works differently, but so like let's say like if you like a Justin Bieber song and you don't want to pay for the album, just for that one song, you can go to MP3 converter. You have to open up a different window. So go into that, go switch back to YouTube, copy the URL in the bottom, then paste it in this little crossbar or whatever on the converter MP3 website. Click convert, and it'll actually convert it into a soundbite. Then you can download it, then you can listen to that song on your MP3 or PSP, your iPad or whatever, something. Yeah, so it's really great. So check it out if you want to get free music or even soundbites, because I like doing recording like action scenes, like from like The Matrix or Dragon Ball Z, then listen to it in it like while I'm walking or something. So it's really cool. Yeah, which is great because if you want to download like all the Sailor Moon songs, go onto that website, click them. Now the thing is here, there are some songs that won't download because there is still that copyright issue, but that only happens like once out of like 15 episodes, and it has to be shorter than 20 minutes, which is plain enough time, but still. Yeah, so some videos still won't work, and if it's under 20 minutes, you'll have no problem downloading it. It's great. Check it out. I'm not sure how it works on the PC, but it works great on the PS3. So yeah. Yeah, it's a quick cap. Sailor Moon dub gets an 8 out of 10, and the Sailor Moon Japanese gets a 9.5 out of 10. I love it. Great. Alright, so stay tuned. We'll talk about Sailor Moon Super S, the last one for the English dub. We'll talk about that next one. Alright, guys. A49 signing out. See you next time.